Standing by the delightful waterfalls in the midst of the mountain ranges rich with wild animals of the western Ghats of India, looking at the buzzing life around him, the young man had a strange thought. All these beautiful valleys will become empty, waterfalls will dry up, and everything, including me, will vanish one day. Health, wealth, and even cherished relationships lose their charm. Everything changes over time. That thought disturbed him a great deal. Then it occurred to him that when all the physical objects and mental or emotional experiences change, the feeling of I or the self never changes. You are the same self when you are young and the same when old. If there is one thing that can be considered unchanging, then that must be the awareness of I or the self. Therefore, he thought self must be a higher reality than the rest of the things in the entire world. He began meditating on the question of self only to be perturbed by the strange thoughts even more. He persisted, yet the mind remained chaotic. Consulting the wise, following the good advice, he began focusing on divine consciousness. The unquestioned faith in the divine consciousness began stabilizing his mind slowly. Intensifying his focus, he gave a name and a form to the pure consciousness. Personalizing his relation with the pure consciousness, he slowly became calmer and calmer. The thought of divine began purifying his heart. He touched the pure self within him once in a while. The experience was inexplicably sweet, like he was being showered by the divine stream of bliss. He desired the company of self alone. However, the turbulent mind would erupt again. At last, the higher self compassionately intervened. The suspicions in the mind had to be resolved rationally with love and affection. The mind must experience the sweet nectar of the self, the divine willed. The mind had to be trained steadily before it could taste the restfulness. Only then turbulences of the mind would subside. The good and the bad had to be seen from a distance, not associating them with the inner self. Mind, now a friend affirmatively. Demons of the mind have retired completely. The beautiful mind is ready to take on the journey away from all the distractions. Self and the beautiful mind together, they go far. The self and the mind, having the true knowledge of self, acquires the genuine gratitude and the devotion to cross over to the higher state of existence. The higher self is devoid of good or bad, right or wrong. It is just aware of everything. That is the supreme consciousness. The inner self is the higher self embodied in the body shining through the mind. Inner self is always subservient to the higher self, not because of the supremacy of the higher self, but due to its association with the mind. There is no difference between the self and the higher self otherwise. A friendly mind is a ladder for the inner self to reach the higher self. Once the inner self has realized the higher self, the mind has to depart and come back only when summoned. Mind realizes the truth behind its existence. Now, the mind is convinced that it is only a reflection of the truth, not the truth itself. Realizing the true nature of self and its relationship with it, the mind settles happily and surrenders to the supreme authority willingly and happily. Having realized the true self, the inner self firmly establishes itself with it. In the company of supreme consciousness, the self rests eternally free and fearless.